Okay, open up for questions.
Professor Tripp, facing a familiar foe on Monday, and is there anything that you can take from those experiences? And I know it's different look, different system, all that type of stuff.
Right. Well, you have a good feel for the personnel, but always appreciated the time there. A lot of good people, and but now we're Raiders, and so you watch them. When you watch tape, you really watch more because it is a completely different offense. They do a good job utilizing their personnel. They got a lot of different guys at skill set, their tight end position, wide receiver position, and we think they do a really good job utilizing it and putting them in position to make a lot of plays.
Were you sold on Justin Herbert from the get-go?
Yeah, he was pretty good right from day one. Very athletic, very poised, very confident. A leader in his own way. I'm sure he's probably even grown in that area. But, you sure felt him on the field, even in practice.
His skill set somewhat feels different than the first three. Like, what are you most concerned with what he can do compared to the three you've already faced? Yeah,
we faced really different styles of quarterbacks. But he's kind of a combination now. He's big, tall, strong, very accurate. Completion percentage is high. Quarterback rating is high. Doesn't get rattled much. Very, very good against the pressure. Can run when needed. Extends plays. Looks downfield to make big plays. Receivers know him, and they understand that part of it. So we got a lot of respect for him now. A lot of respect. And we saw it. Some of the guys that were on staff and players saw it firsthand and know what he's, about up to this time. We haven't been obviously with him now, so I'm sure he's even grown more.
Gus, I know the secondary is dependent on the pass rush to a degree, but what do you think has allowed you all to be successful in just in pass coverage in general?
Well, I think we're kind of a work in progress there. We're seeing some really good signs. There's some mistakes being made out there. So I think that's always an area of improvement for us, but it seems like they're understanding concepts better. Some of the things that we're teaching them, the players are picking up, and they're teaching us, too, some of the ways they see it. So it's good dialogue between both groups, but we're still not a finished product by any means, but it looks like football for the most part, many times.
KJ Wright's snaps were a little bit limited on Sunday. Was that just a product of, kind of?
Yeah, some of the personnel that they had in the game, how we wanted to play it. So he's been playing very well for us. So we need to continue to get him on the field. Good things happen when he's out there.
Can you talk about Denzel? He's a thumper. That guy's an enforcer, just his play and how you.
Yeah, he's playing with a lot of confidence right now. He's, versus the run and the pass. His leadership skills that he's always possessed are really showing up. The players are responding to him in critical times. He has a sense of poise about him. He gets us lined up and ready to go. So, yeah, he's. I think his banked experiences in the defense has been good. So all that combination, and he's a very good player. He's blessed with some God-given talent, and he's utilizing it. So yeah, we're very pleased with how far he's come along.
Another guy you've been getting a lot out of is Casey Hayward. Yeah, last time we talked to him, he said he just feels like he's been lucky the first three games. Is there a little bit more to it than that?
Yeah, he does a good job. He's very smart. I think you saw him. I think it was the Pittsburgh game he came off. He just has a good feel for route combinations and in certain situations, situational football. And, he's been like that for the times I've known him. So, I think he brings that poise, too, I think, back there as a group.
When you talk about Casey, if we could just piggyback on that two-part question, you think about his safety. It makes a momentum shift from Zay's coverage of special teams in a game. But how can a big play like that have an impact for the next game, the next month, the season, just in terms of being able to relate back to that? And also with Casey, just the impact you're seeing after 3 games on the youngster.
Well, we always talk about, something good is about to happen, more of that mindset. And, rather than, oh, no, it's a sudden change, what's going to happen when we go out in the field, more change that philosophy to, no, something good's about to happen. So, here it is backed up, and then Casey makes that play. It adds to that mentality that we're building. And our players have it by nature, but it sure was a good sign. And even though I think if you watch the tape, we weren't quite positioned right. You know, there were some guys trying to get lined up a little bit late, but he still played fast. He recognized the formation, understood the situation, and then played fast. So it was big for momentum. I think it got us going a little bit, you know, especially defensively, not that our mindset was ever affected, but it only adds to it.
When you talk about the mentality of the team, how is it when you're 3-0 that you kind of help them keep in between the line of becoming complacent or overconfident?
Right. Well, I think they see it on tape. You know, some of the things that, we missed some tackles. Our effort wasn't to the standard we were looking at, and it's a high standard. Coach Marinelli does a great job with that. So there's always things to work on. If we're truly after, we talk about victory, being the best that we can be, it's hard to accomplish that. So it's always that nugget out there that we're not there yet. We're not there. There's no such words as we have arrived. And I think they can see that on tape. So it's pretty good in our room. They hold each other accountable. They really have done a good job on all that. And like I said, I give credit to them and their position coaches for really instilling that.
Coach, it's a different staff there, but there are some of the same players are around. Some guys have practiced.
Yeah.
In your system. Is there any thought of, like, you have to change verbiage? Is there things you have to change in terms of checks at the line?
Yeah, I think there's, you have to be aware of that. I'm sure there's conversations, just like we talk about the personnel, right? What's Keenan like? What's Mike Williams like? I mean, you have banked experiences. And so, there's some staff members that are there, so we're well aware of that and understand the game within the game that's being played as well.
Someone talked about Keenan, but Mike Williams, it seems, playing the X, I think, under Lombardi. Like, do you see a different Mike Williams right now?
He's a guy that I've felt like the time I was there, every game, every practice, he seemed to gain more and more confidence, and the big plays came with it. So he made a lot of big plays last year, and it's that type of mentality. He's playing with a lot of confidence right now. Their skill set at receiver, they've got speed, they've got really, really good route runners, they've got big body frame guys, the tight ends are big. So they've really done a nice job. I think that, where it really jumps out at you on film is the offensive line. I think that's what's, you look at them across the board, and their offensive line is really built very well. And they've done a good job there with that personnel.
You had mentioned Trayvon Mullen in training camp as improving the consistency or being a consistent player during training camp. Do you feel like that's carried over to this regular season?
Yeah, I think he's also, kind of a work in progress. He's getting more and more opportunities. I think he'll get more opportunities this week. We'll have a good feel for where he's at on things, just because the style of the way they play offense. So he'll get some opportunities. So this will be a great challenge for him.
Is there a player that you're watching on film that maybe on game day you're not noticing, but on film you're like, wow, that guy's really playing well?
I would say probably Corey Littleton is doing a good job for us. I think he's a guy that's improving. I think, obviously there's guys in the defensive line, that are playing pretty well for us right now. Corey Littleton's the guy that jumps to mind right now. Nate Hobbs is doing good. He's been very solid for us, and he made a couple big plays last week. So, it's just been really a steady performance. And then obviously the guys that are doing some good things stat-wise, I'm sure they stand out. But overall, those guys have done a nice job within the scheme.
Gus Bradley has been really good against the blitz, which is something we don't see often from young quarterbacks. You guys always kind of rely on your front four to get there without blitz help, but how important is that, especially this week against a quarterback?
We got every week we go into it with a plan to affect the quarterback. I think, we said depending on the game last week, we came out right away and we ran more pressures. It really depends on who we're seeing and how effective we need to be to affect the quarterback. So he presents a challenge. You're right. He is extremely talented against the blitz, understands where he wants to go with the balls, and I think that's maybe the banked experiences of being around guys like Keenan. He's not only just a good route runner, a really good receiver, but he's very intelligent, and he understands coverages and, where they want to go with the ball and what he needs to do. So I think they're developing a chemistry between them, and, that's just time spent. So without being there, you're just watching on tape, but it feels that way.
What kind of challenges does it present preparing for a team that has such a dynamic receiving weapon out of the backfield, a running back that can run such good routes?
He is. I'm glad you mentioned him because he is. He's a guy that will keep you up. wondering, because they position him so many different places. And it's not just one thing, hey, he's outside, run a go ball. I mean, they really treat him like a receiver, and they'll position him anywhere. So he's kind of a Kamara type for them. Joe Lombardi's got some, experience, or he's been at the Saints and how they use Kamara, and they're utilizing him the same way. So he's always a challenge. We have to have a good plan for him and have good awareness where he's at all times.
Do more Levi than Willie.
Coach, on defense, collectively, the defense played fairly well against the Dolphins. The one sore eye that I really just saw was the fact of fourth down conversions, of the Dolphins really converting on a lot of fourth downs. Has that been a big point of emphasis that you've been making on the team this week?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was really the 2-minute type drives, that we struggled in. And, that was just some communication things. We just got to clean it up. There's a few missed assignments in, kind of a panic type time, when they're moving the ball, you don't get a chance to huddle. So those are things that we definitely addressed and got to work on. The Chargers do a great job. They're a team that goes for it on fourth down. So we got to do a good job. We understand that, their mentality, it could be 4-down territory anywhere on the field. And, we have to understand that part of it.
Plus, over the last several years, you've somewhat seen the evolution of Casey's play from role player to now brought in here as a leader. How much have you leaned on him, or will you lean on him in terms of both y'all's experience with the Chargers, and especially since he was brought in to sort of, spearhead the secondary but teach the youngsters?
Are you saying Casey Hayward? Did I hear it right? Okay, yeah. I mean, we have constant conversations, but it's really Casey, all the corners. And if we get together as a group. Ron Milas and Addison Lynch, they do a great job. I think that communication, that group, they've really bonded together. And, it's pretty cool to see how they brought that whole group together. And Casey's been a big part of that. So not only scheme-wise, but just, I think, the presence. It's great. Coach Gruen always says it's nice to have a veteran presence in each position group. And, we kind of have that, a Casey, a KJ, a Corey Littleton, and then the D-line. There's multiple guys that, have that kind of presence about them in each position group. So we're fortunate that way, and Casey's been, an A+ as far as that's concerned.
All right, guys, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Back on the podium. How y'all doing?
Denzel, I know the players like to say, it's not that big a deal playing.
I already knew it was coming.
Is it a big deal?
No. The reason why I don't consider it a big deal, I mean, you just treat it like a normal football game. I mean, when you go out there and try to make it bigger than what it is, you kind of lose focus on, the big picture, which, like I said, you're just playing football. So, it's not a big deal.
Any contact between some of your old teammates?
I just talked to Kazir White. Like, we talk every week, though. Just ask him how you doing, how you did that week, what he feel like you need to work on, stuff like that. Just linebacker talk.
Were you a believer in Justin Herbert from the get-go last year when you saw him, especially when you got to training camp and started seeing what he was all about?
Yeah, I'm a firm believer in Justin, man. He was my workout partner at one point. So, yeah, he's a great quarterback, man. We know what he can do. Obviously, he showcased that last year. He's, started the season off, well. So.
What challenges does this team have ahead in kind of defending receivers like Keenan Allen and Mike Williams?
Just challenges in general. They're two different players. I consider Keenan to be, a quick, twitchy guy, playmaker. Obviously, Mike is a playmaker too, but Mike's more of like a jump ball, deep ball kind of guy. Keenan's all over the place. But like you said, it's going to be a challenge. As far as the defense, we just need to do our job and, play as one.
I asked a couple guys this yesterday about the sense of playing on Monday night. If it ever gets old, if it's what you always want to do, you played on Monday night before, like the atmosphere, the world's watching, like what goes through your mind, or at this point, is it not as big a deal?
Yeah, at this point, it's not a big deal. Just another game, just another Monday night game. I thought the team's only get one, to be honest with you.
You're playing very well, but when you watch the tape, what do you have to get better at?
It looks good on on paper, but me personally, there's a lot of little small things, like missed tackles, like close calls, little small things that a lot of people don't see, those type of things.
Seems like you all have, as a linebacker core, have held up pretty well in pass coverage so far. What's allowed you to have success in that area?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Can you repeat that again?
I was saying, just as a linebacking core, you guys have held up pretty well in coverage. It seems like opposing teams, I know you've been targeted, you and Trayvon Mullen, I think, have the most defensive targets on the roster. And it seems like they maybe tried to, with some guys like Casey Hayward playing really well outside, maybe they tried to, exploit some matchups against the linebacker core.
As far as like pass game and like as far as like linebacker playing the passing game, I wouldn't say it's not complicated. Like when everybody out there playing as one, and I'm able to, talk routes with like a safety or a DB, or like we're able to, kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? When you can, I can't get the word out right now. My mind kind of all over the place right now. But like when you can kind of, I can't get the word out. It's frustrating me right now. But like when you can help me out here. Like when you can kind of anticipate like what they're about to run, when you prep for it, you watch enough film, you kind of get a feel for what they're about to run and stuff like that. So when it comes like in the passing game, it's just going back to, film, what they do, tendencies and stuff like that.
And so there were a couple plays on Sunday, fourth down plays, conversions, one real big one, the 4th and 20. A, how frustrating was that? And B, talking to Coach Bradley, he's talking about maybe better communication, even in those kind of frenzied situations where nobody's huddling up, you gotta run the spots. Yeah. What can you do what can the team do to help kind of get that fixed?
Like you said, man, just communication, and we just got to do our job at the end of the day. Like you said, there was a couple opportunities where we had chances to get off the field, and at the end of the day, they get paid too. They make plays as well, and like I said, we just need to really hone in on 4th down, get off the field.
Denzel, you spent about the same time in with the Chargers as with Casey. Can you talk about just the evolution of the player that you've seen from role player to now being here, leader, leading the youngsters in the secondary, and just what he's meant overall this season?
To me, Casey's a quiet leader, but when he talks, everybody listens. Like you said, he's been a veteran player. Like he's been around the league, so he's much respected. And as far as like you say, just being with him, every year I feel like Casey just gets better at something. And he's actually one of those guys that I talk to about like route concepts and trying to get better in the passing game. So yeah, that's somebody I definitely like lean on and towards. And I'm pretty sure like a lot of young guys do it.
Does this defense have like a swag to it yet? And is that important for a defense?
I feel like we got some swag. Like I feel like every game day, everybody shows their personality, in some way, some form, but we all do it together. If that makes sense.
Is it important to have that?
Oh yeah. I mean, if you're not out there like being yourself, like being a player, like how can you play the game?
So I just asked Gus about a player that maybe isn't getting a lot of attention that's playing well, and he mentioned Corey Littleton. You're in that linebacker room with him. You're playing with him. What is he doing that people aren't seeing, but that's impressed you?
Probably talking. I mean, I don't know if you ever like talked to Corey Littleton. I've been around him. He don't talk much, but like when he is on the field, he is talking, and he does make plays. But that's just his personality. He's one of those guys. Like I'm not gonna do too much talking, but when we're on the field, I'm gonna make plays.
Denzel, when you talk about the defensive swag, adding to that is coming up with big plays like Casey's safety in the last game. It has an impact in the game. Can it have an impact that lasts to the next game, or maybe over the next couple of games in maybe bolstering that swag?
Yeah, I mean, we watched that play in the film room, and it's almost like you was back on the field again. Just getting all re-energized back up again. So like just plays like that. For me personally, like it just brings me back to that moment, and it carries over. But obviously it's a new game, so just make a better play next time.
That's it.
Thanks, man.
Get started.
Coach, it might be nitpicking a bit, considering you guys are 3-0 right now, but slow starts again have plagued you, and then you've been unbelievable second period through fifth period, really. How much of a concern is it? How much has it been addressed, just starting faster?
Yeah, I think, again, it's good that when you can teach after winning the games, it's much easier to do that than if you're losing games. So obviously it's an emphasis of ours to play a complete football game. The good thing is that, again, we are 3-0, and we don't feel like we've played a complete football game offensively. So fast starts is always, for us, in meetings or on the practice field. It's always an emphasis, and then we'll continue to make an emphasis going forward.
It was almost inevitable that a learning curve for the starting center under James playing as a starter for the first time in his career. How do you feel like that's progressed?
Yeah, I mean, we're always, like we say, as long as the guy's continuing to get better on a daily basis or game-by-game basis. And it's very difficult to have the arrows just go completely up without having any dips. So we, understanding of that there might be a game where it feel they level up, but we still feel like he's just getting better, and we see it every day on the practice field. And again, we feel like he's shown improvement from game 1 through game 3. So we just continue to believe that arrow's going to rise.
Greg, I know we talk a lot in the training camp about, red zone offense, improving in that area, being a point of emphasis coming into this year. It seems like that's still a work in progress. From your standpoint, what do you think the key of improving in that area is?
Well, penalties and turnovers or a couple of areas that we've got to clean up on. So when you look at we're in a 3-game sample right now, but we like the plan. We've liked the plan that we put together for all 3 opponents, and we feel like the plan has been good, and it's just a matter of a little better execution and taking care of football.
Greg, with Derek playing as well as he is, how much liberty does he have, whether it's audibling or changing things on the field?
I wouldn't say we would give him that freedom based on how he's playing. It's just that now that he's in his 4th year in the system, I think experience within the system is part of the reason why we're allowing him to do more at the line of scrimmage. And along with that has come better play, obviously, but that comes with the experience in the system as well. So he's a very intelligent guy, as you guys know, and as John has alluded to. They're really on the same page on everything when they get on game day. I think Derek is going where John wants him to go with the football. So with that, again, with his ability to get us out of bad plays, we've allowed him to do more at the line of scrimmage.
Coach, when you're off to a 3-0 start, what's the fine line between allowing the team to become too complacent or too overconfident?
Well, I mentioned it last week, we said Gus Bradley, he has a saying, be allergic to the big meal. But also, if you've had a chance to be around Coach Gruden, and you see, I know there've been some sound bites even on him talking to officials, and he's no different than he is with our players on a practice field. It's never good enough, and that's just who he is. And with that mindset, I just think the players understand that he's never going to allow them to be complacent at practice, to feel too good about what they're doing. They can always get better, and he's always going to push and drive them the way that only he can. And again, I think it's interesting. You think he's hard on the officials, you should hear him on a Wednesday or Thursday practice. So I don't think that'll be an issue.
Greg, what does it say about the maturation of Brian Edwards as he continues to kind of become a closer, really, in the 4th quarter and in overtime?
Yeah, I'd say Brian, and really, I know we talk about Henry Ruggs as well, just the strength that they're playing with this year, the ability to go up and snatch the ball in a competitive situation, and not only to catch it, but also to get the run after catch. And that's something we've emphasized. I know Edgar Bennett, our wide receiver coach, he touches upon it every week to the offensive unit. For everybody, that we've got to be better with our run after contact, our run after catch has got to be better, and we've seen that improvement this year, specifically from those 2 players, from Edwards and Ruggs. So, that's just something that, again, it's emphasized, but it doesn't come about by accident. I think both of the guys that you're talking about, and really for Brian, it's been staying healthy. He's healthy finally. Came out of college with a bad foot. He got injured here with us last year. So now he's healthy. He's able to lift weights and do things with our strength and conditioning group, who've done a fantastic job with all of our position groups on offense. But I think they're just bigger, stronger, and they're faster this year. And again, there's a want to. They got to want to do it too. They want to play stronger. They want to break tackles. They want to be part of what we're doing here offensively. And they're really a pleasure to coach, and we're lucky to have them.
Has Peyton Barber, in your mind, earned himself a role even when Josh is back and healthy and ready to go?
Yeah, we were extremely excited about Peyton based on his performance last week and also his performance on the practice field. But not only has he shown the ability to run hard and understand the scheme at which we're asking to run into, but he's also a very intelligent player, and he's had some nice blitz pickups last week, protection pickups. So we like what we've seen thus far. We'd say a one-game sample with us, but we liked him when he came out of Washington and what he was doing there. So we feel like we got a good player there, and we're continuing to see him develop.
That's good.
Thank you, guys. Yep.
Hey, hey.
Well, it seems like you guys have been getting pretty good interior pressure so far this year, which I know you weren't here last year, but that's
Yeah.
an upgrade. What's been working for you all inside?
Just everybody working together. We got a lot of good chemistry, even for like the short time I've been here, and it seems like we're meshing well. You know, everybody on the same page. Just rushing really selfishly. You know, we know it takes all of us to eat. You can't just take one guy to hunt. So we just all making sure we're on the same page, working at levels. You know, me and Solly and Fi, whoever's in there, making sure we're getting that push. Our edges aren't rushing behind the quarterback, so it all seems to still be coming together. I mean, we left a lot of meat on the bone last week, but, you know, it's still coming together good.
The kind of narrative this week has been you have to pressure Herbert, but you also have to contain him because you go to, like, you're in such a rush goes too fast, he can get out.
Yeah.
Is that kind of the main concern, like to contain him more than, you know, just go all out every play?
Yeah, I mean, luckily the first, especially our first quarterback we played was an athletic quarterback, so we kind of got a blueprint. But yeah, he's a great athlete. You know, he's 6'6" and huge, can make all the throws, and he likes to scramble out the pocket and those B gaps. So I mean, we have to be conscious. You know, you can't let that guy, because once he gets out and receivers start breaking off, going downfield, it's big plays. So it's on us. You know, we have to rush aggressive, but just still rush smart. You know, because you can't just let him run around there.
When you talked about, you know, playing the first week, but a lot of talk's been how this team has overcome 3 traditionally stringent defenses the past year or two. But the other side of it, the offense has been kind of diverse in what you've seen. Does that help going into this in the collection of offenses you faced over the first 3 weeks?
Yeah, it definitely helps. Anytime your offense can put up points, it takes a lot of stress off the defense, you know. And we know sometimes there's some points we can pin our ears back and really, really get after it. But you know, we kind of been piecing it together. Hopefully this game we can really, really put it together and play dominant all 3 phases. But it's starting to come together. Like when our offense needs us to make a play, we've been making a play. When we need them to make a play, they've been making a play. So you know, you need those games like that. I feel like those first 3 games are almost damn near like playoff games and kind of molding us for this, because this is a big game. You know, it's a division game, and ultimately you win your division, you're going to the playoffs. So we got to come correct.
As a player, you probably want to play as much as you can, but you know, you guys have multiple options, you know, pretty much at every position up front. How does that kind of help you stay at a high level when you have somebody else come in for you?
It keeps you fresh. It keeps you fresh. You know, we got a good rotation. You know, I didn't play in the system where I had to play like 80% of snaps. It's not, especially in the fourth quarter, you get wore down. And you even look at the fourth quarter's last game, even overtime, you had guys just going to the wall, and it just helps having that good rotation. So I'm glad. This is a great group I've been playing with. You know, guys come in, there's no drop off, and it's exciting. And sure, I'm just excited to see where we can still go, because we still have a lot of game left, a lot of season left, and I feel like we're only going to just keep pushing each other, keep getting better.
With things as competitive as they are, with all you guys being as competitive as you are, does that have to be talked to you guys about it? Like, hey, you might not get as many snaps as you have in the past, but it's going to work in the long run. Or are you guys pretty obvious?
I think we're all in it, and honestly, especially the reps, I don't think guys have even been short of reps, because we've been rotating so much. Guys are getting great reps, and it's just one of them, like, everybody knows their role and knows, like, you don't have your studs, you know, of course, but you know, guys are out there just playing their butts off, you know, doing anything it takes to win, because it ultimately takes everybody, you know. So whatever your role is, do that to your best ability, and you're going to give us a great chance to win.
I was wondering about the confidence level of the defense, and is it important to have like a swag to the defense, and do you guys have that, if so?
Yeah, I feel like we definitely have a swag. You got to have a swag, an identity. You know, you have something to hang your hat on, and ours is just effort-based. Like, you cut on that film, you see guys flying to the ball. It doesn't matter if it's a screen, doesn't matter if the pass 15 yards down the field, guys are running. And I think that's what we hang our hat on. We're going out there, and we know, guys, the offense ain't going to outwork us. You know, we know we're going to play our tails off. If it's 6 quarters we got to play, we're going to play 6 quarters. You know, and you see that when you cut on the film, and I think that's really what we hang our hat on.
Gus, it's, you know, Gus obviously created the Legion of Boom, and I
Yeah.
think during training camp, Damon said, at some point, we'll have a nickname for this team.
Yeah.
3 games in, you guys been discussing, since you got swag, you got a nickname yet?
I don't know if we got a nickname yet. It might take y'all or like the fans to give us one, but I know for a fact, like I said, I think we just hang our hat on playing with effort. You know, it takes effort first. That's the thing that takes no talent. So you play with effort and you have talent, everything's gonna handle itself. So we're out there just trying to master things that take no talent. So we'll see. We'll see. Maybe at the end of the year we'll have a nickname.
I know a lot of the guys that you're obviously aware, a lot of the guys came from the Chargers.
Yeah.
They played there before. Gus and Denzel are saying like, it's just another game. But for you guys, is there a little extra for everybody else to help them get back to the Chargers? Not get back at them, but
Yeah, just be honest, like, if it was the Chargers or even if it was the Broncos, like, it's a division, like, inter-division game. Like, it's a big game, you know, and we get this win, we're one up in our own division. So I don't think it really mattered. I think anybody was going to be up. I know me personally, I tell you every game as important because they are. It's hard to win in this league, and you need every single game. So, I mean, it's a bonus, you know. I know they won it. I want to get a win for them, but, I mean, it's in the division. So, yeah, it's a big game.
Gus had mentioned a couple plays you guys gave up on 4th down.
Yeah.
That 4th and 20, one of them, a couple of them were in frantic situations. Obviously, sometimes you tip your cap to the other team for executing. But is there something that you guys could do in those when it's like kind of flying all around?
Yeah, really, because we could have just tackled Jacoby on that play. I know Fi had him in his hands, and I even told him, like, man, you got to just finish. Like, we got an opportunity like that to get off the field. We got to capitalize, and I would have took care of everything. But I do tip my hat off to Jacoby. He played his tail off, you know, and he's a great quarterback. And, I mean, he get paid too. He just made a play. He made a play. You know, it was a great play. But, yeah, ultimately, we got to, especially D-line, we take pride. We got to make that play and get him down.
That's all set? Greg?
I appreciate you. Thank you.
What'd you say?